Hello, dear. I am Dr.S.D.Pagar, Associate Professor, Department of Geography. Dear student, I welcome all of you in this online lecture series on behalf of Maratha Vidya Prasar Samajas, Charity Arts, BH Commerce, and AM Science, popularly known as KTM College Nasik. Dear student, this is our MA MSc Part 1st Geography class, semester 1st, and today we are going to discuss our subject, that is Principle of Economic Geography. The code of our subject is GGUT-113, and in this lecture we are going to discuss our third chapter, that is resources, and we have today's subtopic, that is role of natural resources in economic development. Dear student, in previous lecture we have discussed detailed information about the classification of resources on the basis of various criteria. Today, for this lecture, we have a study objective or learning objective that is very simple, to discuss significance of natural resources in economic development of any country. Dear student, you know that resources means a things or the material which have capability to fulfill the needs of human being. And we already discussed in our previous lecture, the major needs of human beings are food, shelter, and clothes. For fulfillment of these needs, we always require the various resources that we already discussed in our previous lecture. Dear student, today in this lecture, what is our topic? The role of natural resources in economic development of the country. Therefore, first we try to understand again what do we mean by natural resources. The resources that are made available by nature and are used without any modification are called natural resources. It means what is a very simple meaning. What are the natural resources? The resources, those are made by the nature itself and that used by the human being for various purpose are known as a natural resources. In the creation of the natural resources, role of human being is total zero. Whatever we have our natural resources on the earth surface, they are created by the nature itself. Therefore, it known as a natural resources. Dear student, for example, we have land, soil, forest, mineral, power resources, water, marine, animal, and so many other resources. They are very useful for human being. Here we are talking about the economic development. For the economic development also, these all resources are very useful. One thing is I would like to clear here, all these resources are free gift of nature and can be used directly for the various purpose. That is very important things related to the natural resources. Dear student, let us see what is the meaning of economic development, the concept of economic development. The numbers of scholars and economists and geographers try to define the term economic development. Let us see the few definitions. The first definition is given by Professor Higgins. According to him, economic development is the increase in per capita and national income of the country. That is very important, because when we measure the economic development, the major that criteria or important factor for this purpose we use, that is a per capita income, and that second is the national income. When we measure these two things, and by the using of the various criteria, we can able to detect the what type of the economic development is observed in that particular country. So these are the two very important indicators. On the basis of this, in this definition, the Professor Higgins give more emphasis on the indicator that we use the level of the economic development. So this is very simple definition. Economic development is the increase in per capita income and the national income. When a country, in any country, the people's per capita income is increased from low income to the high income, and again the national income of that country is also increased from low income to the high income, then this process or this thing, the shifting of the one economic stage into the low economic stage of that country toward the high economic stage, then definitely it known as a economic development according to Professor Higgins. Second definition is very important, that is given by the Meyer. According to Meyer, in 1964, he defined this term Economic development is a process whereby an economy's real national income increase over a long period of time. That is very important. In this definition, only one indicator he suggests about the national income increase. Means national increase in the national income. But see, one other important thing is here. For a long period, it doesn't mean that within just 1 or 2 years it was increased, but again it decreased. No, that is not expected here. According to this definition, that should be increased for a long period, maybe 20 years, 30 years, or maybe the more than 10 years. Then we can say yes, the economic development is observed in that particular country. So therefore, in this definition, two things are very important. First is increase in the national income of that country, and second thing, that's sustained for a long period, that should be continued for the long period. Then this increase in the national income is known as a economic development. Then we have the again one third very important definition that is given by the Arthur Lewis. According to Arthur Lewis, economic development represent the per capita increase in the production of the country. That is very important. Because see student, when the per capita income of each and every person is increased in that particular country, it is an indicators of yes, the income of that particular country's people is increased. And you know, when it increase, when the economic development, the process is happen there, it continue for a long period, then this can be possible. Because it will be not possible within a 1 year or maybe within the 6 months. For that purpose, we require the continuous development. And then, yes, then we can analyze, we can observe that in that particular area, the per capita income of that country's people is increased. And definitely, when the per capita income is increased, then definitely, directly, the national income of that country is also going to increase. So therefore, according to Arthur Lewis, that is very simple. When the per capita income is increased, then definitely it also lead to the increase in the production of the country, increase in the national income of the country, and that nothing but it is a economic development. See, one another definition I would like to explain here. It is taken from the Britannica Encyclopedia. Economic development, the process whereby a simple low-income national economies are transferred into the modern industrial economy. See, that is very important. So, in previous three definitions, we just explained that the per capita income when increase, or maybe the national income when increase. But see, in this definition, it is clear. The economic development is a process whereby the simple and low-income national economy means a country having a very low national income. But through this process, this is the process which help to increase transfer the per capita income of that country, national income of that country from low income level to modern industrial economies, means high level national income. Means there you will observe the great increase in the national income of that country and the per capita income of the country. Then we can say yes, there is economic development. So we try to define the term natural resources, and in other hand, we also explain the term economic development. Let us see other some conclusion about what is the meaning of the economic development. Economic development is growth of standard of living of people, a country's people, from low income, that is poor country, to the high income rich economy. See student, when the standard of living increase, it is a reflection of the increase of the people per capita income, because the common people cannot be able to purchase or maybe utilize the high standard of living. The standard of living is totally depend on that people's income. If the income is high, then definitely the standard of living is going to improve. But see, if the people don't have the high income, they're not able to get the high income, then definitely it will reflect in their poor standard of living. So therefore, in this definition, two things are very important. When the standard of living will be increased, when it will be going to increase, if the people's income is increased. And these days, when the people's income is increased, the definitely the standard of living also going to improve. And so, when it will improve, then it is known as the economic development. Dear student, the natural resources play a very important role in economic development of the country as direct input into the production and through the many services provided. And see student, in national income, what we are considered for the measurement of the national income, everything, the goods and services which are we provided, we are produced during the that economic year. So therefore, when the production of the goods and services increase, it totally depends on the what type of the natural environments are available in that particular country and how they use for the as a raw material for the various industries or for the supporting factor for the various services. So therefore, the whole process of the economic development is it's totally depend on the availability of the natural resources. We can say that natural resources is foundation for the economic development. They uh, support the increase in the economic development. So it is totally depend on the natural resources. See, uh, I'm talking about this. Let us see the some example how the natural resources are useful to economic development of the any country. Let us see the first very important resources, that's the mineral resources. Yes, dear student, numbers of the minerals are very useful for the economic development of the country. The main important use of the mineral resources for the industrial purpose. The industrial growth of the nation depend largely on the development and the management of its mineral services. For example, you can say the coal and ions are the very important minerals that are useful for the growth of industrial development in that particular country. Yes, the iron and steel is very important because it is the backbone of the all industrial development. So when we have the lot of the mines of the iron ore, then definitely we can able to produce a lot of iron, and that iron we can use as a raw material for the various industries. So therefore, this is very important. So I'm talking, you can say that the ions is very important for the construction of the building, transportation, communication purpose, machinery, automobiles. These are the things, these are the industries where the without minerals or I'm talking about the ions, we are not able to do anything. So therefore, for this purpose, means most of the industry require ions, coal. These are the very important things, and for that purpose, if we have the storage, the good storage, rich storage about the minerals, then definitely that will give to support for the industrial development. And once the industrial developments happen in that particular region, then definitely the standard of living of the people and the income of the people and the income of the national is going to increase. So therefore, it is a very important. You can see, we can observe the country like a China, like a Russia, like a America. These are why they are developed. The main base for that, yes, they have the very good minerals resources, and therefore with help of the resources they can able to do industrial development, and directly now the economy is also improved in that country. Let us see the second example, that's land, and you can say the soil. So what is land? Land is the solid part of the earth's surface, or you can say the surface of the earth that is not covered by the water is known as a land. And land is the primary factor of the production. Land is a very important, because you see the major factor affecting the development of the economy of any country, it is the land resources. Land is used in economy include the natural resources such as the fertility of the lands. So you can see without land we are not going to establish any industry. Even we are not going to do the agriculture. We are not going to construct the dams, buildings, or maybe the industry, bridge. What these all are the numbers of the multi-purpose project or maybe the irrigation project. Everything require the land. So without land, we are not going to do anything. So therefore, land is the primary factor of the production. It is a primary input for the industrial. It's a very primary base for the agriculture activity. It's a base for the transportation activity. Everything is depend on directly or indirectly on the land. And if you are talking of the soil, yes, you know that the value of the soil, especially I am talking about the when we talk about the agriculture development, transportation development, that purpose also land and soil is very important. Without soil, the whole Agriculture development is depend on the fertility of the soil, quality of the soil, characteristic of the soil. If the soil is fertile, soil is suitable for the agriculture purpose, agriculture activity, then definitely we can able to produce a lot of production. That production we can use as a raw material in the agrobase industry. Therefore, you know that the most part of the world we can observe that the where we observe the economic development, that area is the plain area, which is the very plain area which has fertile soil, then definitely as compared to mountain area, as compared to plateau area, this fertile area of the soil dominated plain region is definitely we observe the lot of economic development. Therefore, yes, because why? Because land and soil both are very important factor in the economic development. And yes, the economic development is totally depend on the industrial development of that region. Then we can say the agriculture development of the region, because on the when the economic development is increased, if the industrial development is happen there, if the agriculture development is there, then definitely the both development can lead and the help to the economic development of the country. So therefore, this is the very important. Let us see the third topic, that is the forest, that is factor, that is the forest. Yes, dear student, forests provide a large numbers of raw material like a paper, furniture, rayon, timber, pearl, medicine, species, and fermenting. Therefore, the forests play an important role in the economic development. They provide several goods which serve as a raw material for the industry. Just I mentioned some. Let us repeat again. Some goods produced by the forests are food, biomass, pearl, paper, rayon, fibers, log, wooden articles, medicine plants, so many things. But and therefore, the forests are very useful in the industrial development of that particular region. And the forest-based various industries are concentrated near the area of the forest. And for that purpose, the forests are very useful. And I'm talking about the way if the area have a very good forest area, then definitely all these industry, all these forest based industry will be going to develop there, and that will be definitely support the economic development of that country. So in this regard, the role of the forest is very important. Then we have the water. Yes, water is also one very important natural resources that are necessary, that are very important for the economic development of any country. Yes, water is a very useful for agriculture activity, agrobase industry, transportation. I am talking about the water transportation, tourism, because you know that the most of the coastal tourism, or the you can say the water tourism, that total even the any type of the tourism development, we require the water is the main base. Without water, tourism is not going to increase. And you know that tourism is the very fast growing economic activity of the world. Then we have the hydroelectricity and the fishing. These are the some occupation. The fishing like occupation is totally depend on the availability of the water. And hydroelectricity, yes, the power energy is very important. And nowadays, you know that the in the I'm talking about the most of the mountains area is suitable for the generating the hydroelectricity. And if we are able to produce the hydroelectricity, then yes, that definitely that going to help support to the industrial area that is located very close to that area. So therefore, the water is also very important factor for the economic development. Water is a vital for numbers of the sector. Water is used to extract the energy. I'm just talking about the hydroelectricity, mineral energy up from the earth, then the refined petroleum, the chemical industry, rolled steel, mill, paper, and produce the uncounted other things, goods. And for that purpose, we require the water. The use of water is compulsory. We cannot avoid the use of water in any production of any things. So for each and every industry, we require the water. For the agriculture activity, development of the agriculture is totally depend on the water. So water is very important for the economic development of that country. Dear student, then we have the other some resources that are also very useful for the economic development. The two major resources I would like to explain here. First is the animal or resources. The animal are also very important for the dairy products, leather industry, wools and milk. These all type of the industries totally depend on the livestock, depend on the animals, because you know that for I'm talking of the dairy industry is very important industry in the world. Or the goat, cow, camel, sheep, buffalo, these are the animals, they are very useful for the dairy product industry. And even the leather, wool, and milk, these all things, the milk based numbers of the industry are there, they require the meals, and meals that we get from the animals. So therefore, even the transportation purpose also in the rural area, still nowadays the animals are used. Even a country like India, we use the use of the animal is a very important in the agriculture operation. Therefore, the animals also very useful resources for the economic development. Then we have the marine, or you can say the ocean. Yes, ocean is also very important, because you know that student, the ocean also support directly or indirectly for the economic development. I just mentioned about the activities such like as a fishing is a very important activity that totally depend on the ocean, mostly because at the international level we know that the fishing is a very important activity. Then water transportation is a very important source of the transportation at the international level, especially most of the trade of the bulky bulky goods is conducted or carried out by the water transportation. For that purpose, the use of the ocean is very important. Then we know that the numbers of the resources we get from the ocean, like a salt, is very important, and most of the coastal area is have a storage of the minerals oils. So therefore, in this regard, the use of natural use of the ocean water is very important, and that directly or indirectly support to the economic development of the country. Dear student, one important thing I would like to explain here. For example, Japan is one of the country which deficit in the natural resources. See, but it is a one of the advanced country of the world because of it has been able to discover a new use of the limited resources. So this is the one ideal example, because Japan don't have too much natural resources, but whatever natural resources they have, they use optimum use of their resources with help of the technology. In the other hand, we have a numbers of the country in the world. I am talking about the African country where the availability of the natural resources is too much, but technology is not extra there. They not use their potential level. Therefore, the economic development of that country is not too much. So, in this regard, I would like to mention one thing, that only availability of the resources is not important, but utilization of that resources is very important. For that purpose, we have to use the new technology. We have to search new technology technique for ideal use and optimal use of natural resources. That is very important. When it will be possible, if we able to extract this available resources at optimum level at the potential level, then economic development can be happen. Dear student, this was about the role of natural resources in economic development. In next lecture, we are going to discuss the role of human resources in economic development. So, okay, thank you very much.